This is my crochet yarn stash, and I crocheted with only 3 skeins from this. The first skein I chose was a multicolor skein, and I don't really know what to call it. It's basically autumn colors though, but that's what all of these yarns are in this video. The next one is sort of an orangish, maybe brownish, whatever sort of autumn color. And then this one is an orange color. It's very pumpkin-y, I think. Starting off with the multicolor skein, I crocheted a mesh cardigan, and I actually made a short video where I showed you guys these skeins and I was like, what should I crochet? And so I didn't really use a pattern for this one. I mean, I did look at some patterns just to sort of figure out how crochet clothes work. I mean, I have crocheted clothes before, these are some pictures, but I didn't really remember the logic of crocheting clothes. So what I mean by that is I didn't remember what measurements you need to get or how long to make chains, you know, that kind of thing. I always like crocheting with these multicolor yarns because I like how the colors fade, and it's just exciting whenever you're like crocheting a new color onto a stitch with a different color. It's just really refreshing, I feel like. This is the result. It is very simple. I added a little bow because I like how it looks. I did do the sleeves, that one pumpkin orange yarn, and there wasn't much of it, so you know, the sleeves are kind of small, but whatever. I was actually surprised by how simple it was to crochet because I was a little bit scared of doing clothes again because I hadn't done them for a long time, and honestly it just seemed so annoying to like try to get the measurements correct and stuff like that, but it was actually pretty easy and I think it fits okay. Here's my cat Hazel. Of course she has to, you know, make sure it's all correct and stuff. She likes it, she just likes the yarn. Onto the second project, I am crocheting a maple leaf garland, and what I did was I used a pattern for maple leaves, and I will put that in the description. It was a very nice pattern. I was honestly quite impressed because I was like, how did someone come up with this? You know, it's like in the second episode of Stash Diaries, well, the last episode I guess, where I was talking about how with patterns, I'm like, how do people come up with this? What you're seeing now is me weaving in the ends, and first of all, I feel like on crochet videos nobody really shows themselves weaving in the ends, and I understand that because first of all, you know, you're probably watching it to see someone crochet, and second of all, it seems like everyone hates weaving in the ends. Like everyone talks about how, you know, tedious it is and stuff, but I remember when I was learning to crochet, I was learning to crochet with my mom, and we actually were weaving in the ends together, and I told her everyone hates weaving in the ends, and she was like, it's actually not that bad, and I thought the same thing. And I don't know if it's just like a, you know, beginner crocheter thing to be like, oh, it's not that bad, you know, and then after you are doing it for a while, then you get tired of it. I mean, I'm not a beginner crocheter, so I feel like weaving in the ends is just unnecessarily overhated. Like, I don't know, it's definitely not as fun as crocheting, but it's not awful. And I forgot to tell you guys how I made the garland. So pretty much I made, I think 12 of these maple leaves, and then what I did was I sort of did a chain and then single crocheted them onto the chain. It's actually kind of weird for me to like try to say things in American terms with crocheting because how I learned to crochet was actually with British crochet videos. I still have that in my mind basically, so you know, I want to say double crochet, but I'm like, no, it's single crochet. And this is what the garland this is what the garland looks like, and this is what the 2 final fall themed projects look like together. Bye.